Well, hello and welcome to the wreath making workshop. It is great to have you join us this evening. I'm Naomi.
And I'm Sophie.
And we'll be running you through the workshop tonight. We're looking forward to it. It should be lots of fun.
Yeah.
Now, Soph, you are here as our expert wreath maker.
Yep.
Tonight, you're going to take us through how to make it. How did you get into making wreaths?
So when I was younger, there was this vine at my parents' house, and I would weave the branches into wreaths. So very, a bit simpler than this, but and then I'd place it on my wall. And since then, I've just really loved the process of creating wreaths, and I've designed lots of different styles. Yeah,
because you're a florist now.
Yeah,
well,
I am. Yeah.
So a professional, and you've been doing this since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Can't get more of an expert than that. Looking forward to it. Well, tonight we're going to show you a little bit of a demonstration of how to get you started with making a wreath, the basics of what to do. You'll also have lots of time with us, not on your screen, so you can enjoy chatting and making your wreaths, and then we'll pop up at various times during the night to take you through some further steps.
Yeah.
Now, we'd love to see some photos, wouldn't we?
We would. We'd love to see those.
We want to see how you're going, want to see all the fun that you're having at home making your wreaths. So send photos of your wreath making parties and updates on your beautiful wreaths to photos@hunterbiblechurch.org. We'll put that email address into the YouTube chat as well. So take photos, send them in, and post on social media. Why don't you, use a hashtag Wreath Making Night 2021, something like that. You make it up and we'll follow along. Well, Soph, you're going to go and get a few things organised for us before we start making our wreaths. And we'll see you in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
One of the things we're keen to show you towards the end of the night are some tips on how to keep your wreath healthy once you take it home and put it up on display. I have a picture of the wreath that I made last year. There it is on your screen in all its glory as it hangs up on my front door today. It's a little bit sad now. It looks a little bit messy, and it makes a mess every time I open and close my door. It's also leaked some sort of black substance onto my door. Don't really know what that's from. Obviously didn't dry it out enough before I hung it up, but anyway, still there, haven't cleaned it after a year. But thinking back to my experience of making a wreath last year, if you're not already, be prepared for a bit of a mess tonight. As you maneuver all the flowers and cut stems and pull leaves apart, making a wreath gets messy. But amongst the mess, you end up with something pretty beautiful. And that's a little bit like life, isn't it? Life is messy, but also has lots of beautiful moments. And as we approach Christmas, we're looking forward to spending time with family and friends, enjoying good food together, and hoping that the perfect Christmas we have in our head will come true. But somewhat inevitably, Christmas Day will roll around, the kids will spill food on their Christmas outfit, the roast dinner might take an extra hour than anticipated, the family catch-up and conversation may not be all we hoped. And then Christmas is over again for another year, and we're faced with the reality that life is sometimes just a little bit of a mess. We're all hoping that we'll have that perfect Christmas. But the sad thing is that life isn't perfect and hardly ever turns out exactly how we want. Well, we here at Hunter Bible Church think that Jesus and the Bible are great, and not only help us to understand life better, but give us hope in the messiness. Because the Bible says that life is messy, and not just what happens on Christmas Day, but that our relationship with God is messy too. It was messy because we decided we didn't want God in our lives anymore, and that's what the Bible calls sin. But the Bible also shows us that Jesus is the beautiful answer to this mess. There's a sentence in the Bible from the beginning of Jesus' life that says, "She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins." Jesus is the one we remember at Christmas time. Jesus came into a messy world, one that we had made messy ourselves, and so at Christmas, we remember that God himself came to clean up the mess. That's what happened on that first Christmas. Born as a baby in a messy barn, Jesus grew up to die a messy death on a cross and rose from the dead to show that he had cleaned up the mess we'd made. Jesus doesn't promise a perfect Christmas. He doesn't promise no stains on the kids' clothes or the roast to be ready on time, but he guarantees for the mess between us and God to be cleaned up. And that is the joy of Christmas, that we have the joy of knowing the God who saves us. So tonight, as you're working on your wreath and you're looking at all the mess that's going on around you, remember Jesus and the best life we could ever have, the joy of a life with God forever. Now, over summer, Hunter Bible Church has a bunch of things on to help you think about who Jesus is and the joy that he brings, which I'll let you know about a little bit later on. But for now, we're actually going to watch a short video on how to make your wreath, and then Sophie's going to come up and do a live demo.
We're going to learn how to make a Christmas wreath today. This is our base. We've got our flowers and our plants, our scissors, our ribbon and our wires, and that's everything we need. So the first thing we're going to do is make a little bunch. So you want to be cutting little bits off your stems, kind of about 10 centimeters, little bits at a time, and what we're going to do is make a little bundle which we're going to tie up with wire and which will start our wreath base off. What I'm doing here is just pulling bottom leaves off, which just makes our bundles easier to hold together and also tie. So before you get started, it's a good idea to think about what you want your wreath base to look like. I'm going to make mine fairly symmetrical and do all of the same flowers all the way around, but you could do clusters of the flowers if you like in different spots, or do no flowers, or yeah, just see what you think will look nice. So we've got our first little bundle now. You want to make sure that you're using the flowers throughout your wreath. Don't try and add them on at the end. As we go around, you want to be using all of the materials. So what we're going to do now, we have our first bundle. So we're going to take our wire and we're just going to wrap it up round and round. This first bundle needs to be the most secure. All of your other bundles are going to go on top of it. So it's really important this first one is really secure. So you're going to place it on the wreath. Make sure it's covering the wires and then get it in place. Grab another wire. And what we're going to do is wrap around the middle two of the frame. It's a little bit fiddly. Just give it a little shake. If it's a bit wobbly, you can do another wire on there just to make sure it's fine. And then we'll do our next bundle. So what you want to make sure as you're going around is that it's covering these wires here so you can't see them. And also remember that as your wreath dries, these flowers will shrink. So that you'll get a little bit less coverage, so try and overdo it a bit. You can overdo it a lot if you want a really kind of bushy wild wreath. You're obviously making bigger bundles as well. So now we'll do our second bundle in the exact same way. So this is my second bundle. I've got the foliage at the back, some nuts, and some flowers at the front. Obviously what's at the front is what you're going to see on the front of your wreath, and this makes a nice flat back to tie onto your frame as well. You can use the more woody bits of your gum at the back of your bundles because they will prop them up well, but you won't actually see them. So what you want to do is be covering the wires from your first bundle so you can't see them, but don't overlap it so much that you're going to need a whole lot of bundles. You want to space them out nicely, and if you've got them nicely spaced, you're probably looking about 10 to 12 bundles to get around. So we'll grab another wire, pop it through the middle. So that's my first two bundles. I'm using these middle two wires of the frame to tie them on. That keeps it at a nice shape and also gives us the outer wire and the inner wire to fill in gaps later if we need to. So what we're going to do is just keep making bundles and attaching them along until we get to the end, and I'll catch up with you. So we've made it all the way around almost now, so we're going to do our last bundle in this gap here. So what you want to do is lift up your first bundle You want to tuck your last one in there so it's covering the wires of the previous one and also has its wires covered by the first bundle. So you just want to kind of keep it up so you have a bit of a gap to wrap. All right, so once it's in there, you just want to have a look at your wreath. And what you can do now is trim off any excess bits that look a bit wild to you. So I might cut some of these middle little bits out. So just have a look and see if you can see any gaps and maybe hold it up against a wall and see what you can see from the angle that it will be hanging at as well. So any gaps that you can see, make a little bundle and just tie it on. You can add in a ribbon. I think the easiest way to do this is to make your ribbon beforehand. Put a wire through the back and then attach the wire to your frame rather than trying to tie the ribbon around your flowers. So that's quite easy to tie on at that point. So you can put a ribbon on like that. You want to give your wreath a really good spray with water and you want to continue to do that every day or so as it dries, which will just prolong its life a little bit. It will dry eventually, but it will just prolong its life and keep it from wilting. I think we're all done.
Well, that was a great video. Gave us a bit of an overview of how to actually make our wreaths. A bit of a sneak peek of what ours will look like, I think. But it's one thing to watch a video. Yeah. It's another thing to actually make it. Yeah. Now you're going to show us a little bit of how to make our, I guess, how to get started.
Yeah, how to get started. Yeah, definitely. So here we have our base and our foliage and flowers. And to begin, we're going to make a little posy. So I'm going to start by grabbing like our main focal flower or foliage. You can do this if you have like a foliage that's larger, it's going to cover the base more. So you want to start off with
something like gum leaves,
or a larger like a
leafy
bushier flower, and you're going to have that like so that kind of comes up as your base. So you'll keep that as your base.
So a little posy is like a little bunch of flowers.
Yeah, a little bunch of flowers.
Mini baby bunch of flowers.
Yeah.
Right, that's good. Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with this one. You're going to start off with that.
I'll try and make one.
Yeah. And then we're going to take off the leaves just at the end of the stems so that you can tie it properly with the wire. So you can get a bit just like...
Gets messy.
Yep.
I did warn you.
Put it
all over the table.
Yep, on the table. And then you can add in other pretty little flowers or textures.
And size-wise, does it matter what size it is?
So it really depends on, what look you're going for. If you want a really big posy, it'd be good to consistently do that all around the wreath. And so if you have really tall foliage or flowers, you can keep it as tall as you like. But it probably is best to do it not too tall because this part of the posy isn't wired on and so that could flop around.
Yes. So essentially whatever size we make our first posy, we want that to be all the way around. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Perfect. So maybe even if you cut that a slightly smaller, the gum.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I've got too much gum.
So say cut there and that's your stem.
That's my stem. Okay. Cut that off.
Yep.
Excellent.
And then you can layer the other flowers or foliage on top of that.
On top of it.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep that
making my wreath with the expert.
And then I'm going to pop this on top like that.
Yeah.
So there's a layer.
I need some more colour in mine. It's a bit too green, I think. Get some purple.
And I'm going to add in some gum nuts.
Nice. And so obviously, like, it gets quite thick the more you've got.
Yeah. And so then you have to make sure that the wire is securely wrapped around it.
Okay.
And then you can grab your scissors and just trim it down a little bit so that you don't have all those ends
sticking out. Ready to poke us through the wreath.
Yeah. Perfect. Yep. You can
add some colour.
Yep.
A little billy button, or I don't even know what they're called, but
billy buttons.
Good enough.
Nice colour.
Great. Okay.
Perfect. And then we've got our wire,
Yep.
and we're just
Very
going
thin.
to go around the posy.
Okay. Just to keep it all tight, like go around as much as we can, or?
Yeah, I would go around just as much as, like, just wrap the whole thing around.
The whole wire around.
Yep, just so it's strong. And if it isn't, if it feels like it's a bit loose, just go in and add in another wire.
Perfect.
How's yours feeling?
Well, it's good. I feel like I need some more things on it.
Well,
if we compare them.
Yeah. So you could go in and you could put some of these flowers a bit lower down.
Oh,
so then that covers the stems a bit more.
Ah, perfect.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, I'll add that to mine. And so once we've made our posy,
Yep.
how easy is it to attach it to our wreath?
It is pretty easy. Like, it's a bit tricky because you've got to get through these two, but what we do is we pop this one down between the two.
We might just go to a different angle, yep.
So there's two metal bars here, and we're going to get our piece of wire and we're going to go through
the two middle ones. Okay.
And we're going to attach it there. It's a bit fiddly, but this will mean it attaches well to the base.
Yeah, nice and secure.
Yeah.
Great.
Get your fingers in there.
Well, it's good that the wreath base is green.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know what you'd do if it was like a big old yellow one or something.
There we
Adds
go.
in.
Exactly. So, and if it feels a bit loose, like, you can make sure it is stable. If it feels loose, go in and add another wire.
Yep.
But that feels pretty tight to me.
Great.
So, and then because you've got the second posy,
Yep.
we don't really want to see this wire here.
No, that's right.
So what we do is we go and we'll lay that on top of the wire here.
Yep.
We'll just tuck it in. We can even move that around, shuffle it around a bit. And then we'll go in and we'll add another wire
And attach
and
that
attach that one.
Oh, great. And so obviously you could keep every single posy exactly the same.
Yeah.
But you could change it up a little bit, have a bit of variety in each different posy.
There's no wrong way to do it really in making your posies. If you prefer it just to be foliage, you could just do foliage. If you wanted it to be just flowers, you could do flowers. But we like to, we've mixed it up. I don't have a billy button in mine,
And
but
a bit of pop of
it
colour.
still looks lovely. I've added in the nuts and
Great.
it looks...
And so would you recommend, like, as we're layering when we made the posies, putting like bigger leaf flowers at the back and then stacking it forward?
Yeah, so the bigger leaf flowers or the foliage, it helps to cover the base.
Yeah.
So if you put small flowers at the back, it wouldn't be
You'd see
seen
the-
and you'd see the base quite a bit. So this way we don't see much of the base at all, and our focus is the flowers and the foliage.
Great.
But then you still see all those little pieces of flowers at the front.
At the front. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess from here we just keep making posies and join them all the way around.
Yep, so what I would do is just continue making posies just like this, in whatever kind of style you'd like. And with the flowers, you can make them all exactly the same, or you could change it up. And then just continue laying them and laying on them on top of the wire from the previous posy. And then when we get to the end, it can be a bit tricky to attach the last one, but that's when we'll jump on and...
We will show you how to do that.
Yeah, we'll
That's
come
right.
in and show you how to do that one. So
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of your wreaths look. Hopefully that's given you a bit of a kickstart into how to make your wreaths. We're going to give you lots of time now to make your wreaths. If you have any questions about anything along the way, post them in the YouTube chat. Can't say that all in once. And keep sending photos in to photos@hunterbiblechurch.org. Sophie and I will also be on Zoom. So we're going to post the Zoom link in the YouTube chat. If you're stuck or you're wanting a further demonstration or something like that, or even if you just want to say hello, feel free to Zoom us and we'll chat to you about making your wreaths. But otherwise, we'll see you in about 20 minutes or so when we'll pop on to show you some next steps.
Yeah, Sounds good.
Well, welcome back. We hope you've got well underway with your wreaths so far. We have had some photos come through, which is awesome. We'll show you some of them now. Hopefully they'll pop up on your screen. We've got all of our flowers ready to go, looking good. Oh,
beautiful.
Nice Christmas setup. I'm still yet to...
Oh, yum.
My Christmas tree.
Where's ours?
Oh, I know. Where's ours? I know. We should have come prepared earlier. Oh, that looks delicious.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. What a setup. That looks great.
Wreaths on the wall?
Yeah, I don't know if they're from another time. Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
It's great to see all of your photos. Keep sending them in. We'd love to see how you're going making your wreath so far. But Sophie, now some people may not be up to this yet. We haven't given them heaps of time yet, but we wanted to show people how they actually finish their wreath. So how do we attach the last posy?
So the last one can be a little tricky just because there's not a lot of space here to attach. So what we're going to do is, so that we don't see the wire like here, we're going to lift this one up and we're going to tuck that one there so you can't see it,
Tuck it in.
But then we've also got to attach the wire. So we're going to lift it up. It's a bit fiddly.
That's right.
So as you can see, there's a bit of space here, and we're going to get one of our wires and we're going to go through and attach it that way. So the other one will be pushed to the side for a moment.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Tuck it back in there.
It's
That
sturdy.
was a nice choice of words. I was about to jump in and say stuff it in.
Yeah.
But tuck it in is much nicer.
And then
Oh,
we're
that
just going
looks
to
great.
attach it. And if you need a second wire, go
Put that on.
Yeah, pop in another wire.
And so if like once this wreath looks quite full, but if we've noticed that there's little bits of green wire throughout, like on the sides or things like that, how easy is it to just put single stems of flowers in?
It's very easy. Because you have this as it's all full, it's all been tied on, it's quite easy to just weave in along the sides. So we can just tuck that in there, say. And it stays because it's tucked into the other posy or in the wire.
So you don't need extra wire.
But you can also attach it with a bit of extra wire if you would like to attach a bit more. You could make a few extra posies and just tuck them in on the sides. But it's quite easy to just weave them through.
Yeah. I think last year I hot glued some gum nuts onto my wreath.
Definitely.
So
there you
get
go.
creative if you've got a hot glue gun. Get that out. Get it warming up. I wasn't very successful. They all fell off in the end anyway. But anyway, that's okay. Worth a shot. It might not happen to you, so go for gold.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, great. And so we saw on that first video adding ribbon. Now we don't have ribbon here today, but quite easy to attach ribbon.
Yeah, so that's another option if you don't feel like you're able to cover this last final bit well. You can get a really nice ribbon, and as she did, she just attached it with some wire.
Yeah.
And then that could be an extra little feature. So you could have the ribbon, or you could just leave it as is, but that's definitely another feature that could be nice.
Great. Yeah, that sounds really good. And I think obviously if you've got more foliage at home or extra things you want to add in, obviously you can fill out your wreath a little bit more with whatever you've got. Well, that sounds great. Again, we're going to let you have some time at home to keep making your wreaths. We'll be on Zoom if you have any questions, particularly if you're not up to the part of finishing and you get to that part and want some help. And keep putting questions on YouTube and keep sending in your photos. And we'll see you again in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, welcome back. Hopefully you're continuing on with your wreaths. We had some people zoom in and show us where they're up to. They're looking great. We have some more photos that have come through that will pop up now.
Oh, that looks great.
Oh, that does. Getting started on making the wreaths.
Beautiful.
Oh, that is a good posy. That's a great bright flower in the middle.
Yeah, that looks great. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, that one is, man.
So good.
You guys are very talented.
Beautiful.
Oh, looks good. Yep. Messy. Told ya. It'll get messy.
That looks great.
Oh, that's so cute. And some dried orange. Very nice.
Very good.
Good addition to the wreath. Oh, they look great.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending them in. That is good. We have had some questions that have come through as well.
Yeah.
Someone asked, how do you, I guess, stop the bigger leaves that we put in the posies from drooping kind of to the sides of the wreath, I guess?
I think with that, they can get a bit top heavy, and so then what I'd suggest doing is making the posies a bit shorter, like smaller.
Yes, okay.
Because if you've got, say, a big, like these, these leaves that has fallen off, but they're very big on the stem, you can still cut it down and they'll still give that full feature, but it won't droop as much because you'll be able to wire it quite closely to the bundle.
Yes.
Whereas when you've got a very tall bundle, it's going to just
Always fall
droop
to the
because
side.
you haven't wired the top part of it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. So shorter posies, or when in doubt, hot glue.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself.
Yeah. Or you could even, like, if you had a few layers, you could attach maybe the very base layer of foliage to the base of the wreath, and then the following layers would just lie on top of that.
Oh, there you go. Great. That is very helpful. And some other things, if we are wanting to make our wreath a bit more full and we've maybe run out of material, what could we find in our backyard to go and forage?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the thing to look out for is foliages that are just a bit, delicate. They're not going to hold well in a wreath. Yes. So you have to look for hardier foliages like some pine or some gum, some native flowers. And if you don't have them in your back garden, I do like to do a little forage on the side of the road from time to time. And I don't pinch anything in front of anyone's house, but if it's on the side of the road, I like to jump out of the car and get a bit of foliage. So
maybe in the morning,
if you see anything in the
wanting to add something, go get a little bit of a sneaky pull out of the grass somewhere.
And you can just continue adding your posies or weave them through.
Yeah, great.
Or glue them in.
Yeah.
Depending on what you like to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, like we mentioned at the beginning of the night, we were going to share some tips on, I guess, how to keep our wreath healthy or to preserve it for as long as possible. Any recommendations on what we can do?
Yeah. So one suggestion would be to not put it in direct sunlight because that's going to dry it out super fast. So it should still last, like it won't go instantly brown within a few days. But if you got it in the sun, it will dry up quicker. Yeah. So keep it out of the sun. You could spray it with a light mist of water, but not too much because you don't want it to go moldy either.
Yes, that would be bad.
Just I think it will just naturally turn to a bit of a crisper colour.
Yes.
But that's just the natural way of the wreath, transitioning into.
And I think most of the flowers that we've given you are hopefully ones that will dry quite nicely on your wreath. So
and it will just look a different style, different.
That's right.
It will still look beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. Just for those that are continuing to make their wreaths, about how many posies do you think it takes to at least go around the whole wreath?
Ooh, I would say probably 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it could be more if you've made smaller posies. But you don't have to bunch them up super close to each other. You can, just as long as you're covering the wire, you can lay them a bit of a further distance.
Away from each other.
Yeah, from each other. So I think we've done about 8 or 9 posies on this one.
Together. And it looks quite full that way. Yeah.
And then you can continue adding in little pieces if you weren't happy with how it was looking. So yeah.
That's great. And any tips on where to hang it once you get it home?
Yes. Well, I'm definitely going to be hanging one on my front door. Yep. So I loved, especially coming into the Christmas season, I think it's really nice to have that wreath hanging on the door. So you can get like a hook if you don't want to put a nail in the door and hang it there, or you can, that will also be in the sun, so that's something to be aware of.
Yeah.
But otherwise you can hang it inside, just put a bit of twine through the wreath base. Say it was here, you put a bit of twine or ribbon and then just hang it up on a hook or a nail. And yeah, that can be a beautiful way of displaying it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and I guess if you've got leftover flowers, put it in a vase. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
But that about wraps it up for us tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Sophie, for all of your help in showing us how to make a wreath live here in the studio.
Yeah,
like I mentioned earlier, at Hunter Bible Church, we want to keep celebrating Christmas with you over the next few weeks. And we'd love you to come along to keep hearing the good news of Christmas, that God came to clean up the mess. And so we've got some Christmas church happening on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You should have a flyer in your wreath making packs. This little one here, and on the back it's got all of the times of the different services, so we'd love you to come along and celebrate Christmas with us there. Another thing I'd just love to let you know about is that at Hunter Bible Church we run a series called Life. It runs over 5 weeks and is a great place to bring any questions you have about Jesus, and the next series for that will be kicking off in a couple of months. So we'd love to see you there, but yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. We've had lots of fun. I smelt my hands earlier. Bit of a weird thing, but they smell like eucalyptus. Yep. This one makes your hands smell a bit sticky too.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Smells nice.
Yeah, should be nice and fresh.
That's right. Christmassy smells.
Yeah.
We'll be on Zoom for another 10 minutes if you have any further questions. But otherwise, we hope you've had a great night tonight and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
So good night and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.